dogs, pepperoni, that type of stuff, those types of meats are filled with nitrites, and nitrites have been linked to cancer. Nitrite, it gives meat a red, fresh-looking color, so that when you buy it, it looks fresh. Okay, that's really the main purpose it serves, is its eye appeal for the consumer. But the problem is it causes cancer. Research has shown that a study at University of Hawaii, 67% increase in pancreatic cancer when people were consuming nitrites. So that's something we want to avoid. Again, if you're eating out of a Maximized Living Nutrition plan, you're not going to be consuming nitrites. We're not going to include that in there. So let's talk about fitness and cancer. What can we do fitness-wise? Well, fitness, when you're exercising and you're physically fit, that helps control your body weight, okay? So that you'll be at a healthier body weight. Why is that important? Because excess body weight has been linked over and over again with an increased risk of cancer. So the more extra weight you have on the body, the more at risk that puts you for developing cancer. So when you are very fit, you reduce that risk. Working out also strengthens the immune system. So not only does it get rid of the extra pounds on you, it'll strengthen your immune system, which is your body's natural fighting defense mechanism for cancer. Okay? Aids in natural detoxification. When the body becomes too toxic, that's when cancer can accumulate. Stimulates a healthy neurological response, which is important in the immune response, which we'll talk about in a second. So, any exercise is better than none, right? If we were all up moving around and walking right now, that'd be better than sitting, right? However, we do know now through scientific principles that some exercise is better than others. And really what it comes down to is that there's really two types of exercise. Either when you exercise, you go at a pretty slow pace so that you can do it a long time, or you go at a really fast pace where you can only keep it up for a short period of time. Okay? It's either one or the other. And what all the research shows us is that when you exercise at a slow pace for a long period of time, so this would be like going out and walking or jogging a few miles, what happens is that it throws your hormone balance in a certain direction that increases cortisol and decreases human growth hormone and testosterone. Now, you don't have to learn the hormones. You don't care what they're called. I just say those fancy terms so that you believe me. But what it means is that when you exercise like that, go for a walk, jog for a long period of time, the increased cortisol, what it does is it increases your body's want to eat more food and to store more fat so that you get ready for the next time you go out and do a marathon. Okay, that's what it's telling your body to do. Okay. On the other hand, if you work out real hard for a short period of time, you get the hormone balance in a different direction that teaches your body to eat less food, to burn more fat, and to build more lean muscle. Okay? And that's what we want out of the exercise, because that's where we get a good response in the immune system, and that's where we're burning more body fat. So I encourage you to exercise first and foremost. If you don't exercise, start doing something. But ideally, you do more short bursts of exercise really hard and then rest and do it over and over and over again for about 12 minutes versus walking on the treadmill for an hour, hour and a half. Because the benefits are way greater for doing the burst type training, the surge type training. Okay? We already talked about that. Toxicity, when you look at the 5 essentials, number 5 down there, minimize exposure to toxins. When you look at our list of what causes cancer, we talked about overexposure of toxins. So we have to address this issue. We have to try to decrease the body's pool of toxins, because it will decrease our immune system when we have a lot of toxins, and it's going to increase our risk for cancer. Okay? So there's a lot of different sources of toxicity. And really, I just wanted to hit kind of the main points today with the toxicity, because the whole talk is based just on toxicity. But the biggest sources that you guys are more than likely exposed to, or the most likely to be exposed to, is fluoride. Fluoride in your toothpaste, fluoride in your water supply, possibly, depending on where it's coming from. They fluoridate toothpaste and water because the theory goes when you expose the enamel on your teeth to this stuff, it helps prevent and fight cavities. The problem is that cancer researchers have said that there's probably no faster way to develop cancer than to expose yourself to fluoride. So even though your dentist would probably disagree with me, I would say your exposure to fluoride is not a good idea. Okay? Mold, especially in the older homes, can be a huge problem. Pesticides, it suppresses the immune system. That's what you're going to be getting if you're buying fruit and vegetables that isn't organic. There's going to be pesticides on it because it's sprayed. Mercury and lead. And the sources of mercury and lead are from vaccinations a lot of the times, especially the flu shot has mercury in it. If anybody tries to tell you it doesn't, they either don't know or they're lying, because it does. As of today, it does. Maybe in the future they'll take it out of there, hopefully. But right now the flu shot has mercury in it. It's called thimerosal. I think they just changed the name so that nobody realizes it's mercury. I don't know. Another big source of this is your dental fillings. The dental fillings can be a huge source of toxins. And again, these all assault the immune system. So those are their major focuses, trying to eliminate these issues best you can, right? And even if you can't eliminate them all or eliminate them completely, the more you can do, the better. The thing is you're either heading towards health and wellness or you're heading towards death and disease, right? There is no sitting in the middle. You're always heading one way or the other. Now, it's a balancing act, and the more good things you do, the more you tip your scale in the favor of good health. The less good things you do, the more you tip yourself in bad health, right? So the reason I say that is you guys might not be able to eliminate all that. Maybe you have mold in your house and you can't move and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, if you can at least reduce your exposure to the other three, you tip the scale in a more favorable balance for yourself. And that's really the goal, is give yourself the best chance to be as healthy as you can be, as long as you can be. Here's another source of problems: pain relievers. These are over-the-counter. I'm talking about your ibuprofens, your aspirins, your Tylenols, your over-the-counter pain relievers that anybody can go buy as much as they want. And a lot of people rely on these things because they have headaches all the time, they have aches and pains all the time, and there's no limit on what they get, and they think it's safe because they don't even need to go to a doctor to get it, right? Well, when you look at some of the statistics, the scary thing is when they studied women that took one ibuprofen a day, so that's your Advil, ibuprofen or Advil, for 5 years, had an increased risk of breast cancer by 50%. If we're trying to avoid cancer, probably don't want to be taking ibuprofen every day. Not probably, you definitely don't want to be taking ibuprofen every day. Another one, second one down, women taking one aspirin a day. And how many people are taking one aspirin a day? That's what all the heart doctors are telling people, an aspirin a day. That'll help prevent heart disease, right? Help prevent strokes and heart attacks, things like that, because it'll thin the blood a little bit. Well, even though that may be the case, the problem is studies show women that took one aspirin a day for 5 years had an increased risk of breast cancer by 80%. So you take an aspirin a day and you maybe prevent a heart attack, instead you die of cancer. There's a better way, guys. There's a better way to do it. The key is eat right, exercise, take care of yourself. Guess what? Then you prevent heart disease and cancer. And you're not causing either one. It shouldn't be that, oh, what I treat this particular problem for causes another one. And then I've got to take another drug to treat that causes another one. That you're just running in a circle if that's what you're doing. And it never amounts to better health. All it amounts to is maybe short-term relief of an issue at the expense of long-term poorer health. Here's another one, third one down, antibiotics. This is one of the most widely used medications in this country for all the bacterial infections. You take your kid to the medical doctor because you think he has an ear infection. Almost 100% of the time you walk out of there with a prescription for an antibiotic, whether it's necessary or not. Well, here's the problem. They've been associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. And if they've been shown to be associated with the risk of one cancer, guess what? It's probably not far-fetched that they're linked to other cancers too. They just haven't been studied yet. If it causes breast cancer, I'm not going to be surprised if it causes prostate cancer or colon cancer or some other type of cancer. Research found that the more antibiotics used, the higher the risk of breast cancer. So again, it doesn't have to be an all or none. It's the less of this you can use, the better. I mean, let's say you go to the dentist and he gives you an antibiotic because he pulled a tooth or something, right? And you think, oh, gee, should I take this antibiotic? Well, look, if you don't normally take antibiotics and you're not taking a bunch of antibiotics in the future, if you take one round of antibiotics, it's probably not going to increase your risk of cancer a whole lot. A little? Yeah, any exposure is not good. But again, the key is just try to do less of it. I'm not telling you have to be real extreme here. You make the efforts to do less of these things that are damaging to the body. So here's the most common toxins that you're going to be exposed to that you have to look for. Poor nutrition. Again, your toxins come from the pesticides and herbicides that are on the foods. The additives and the preservatives that you're exposed to when you're eating a lot of boxed, prepared meals, things that come in bags, things like that, stuff that isn't real food. It's going to come from the environment, air pollution, water pollution, secondhand smoke, stuff like that. Commercial cleaning products, personal care items, our deodorants, makeup, stuff like that. You got to be concerned about this stuff. Look for as natural and organic type stuff as you can get, and it's out there. You go online, you can find this stuff. Medications. Again, a medication may reduce a short-term symptom. It may even be necessary for some conditions in the short run, but in the long run, understand that medications do have side effects and ultimately challenge the body, okay, or stress the body. Most common toxins damage hormones caused by stress, and the combination of all these do what? They reduce your immune system, and when your immune system is reduced, you're more susceptible to developing cancer. Again, it's all about the immune system. That's what our focus has to be. If our immune system is strong, will you ever get cancer? The answer is no. You get cancer when your immune system gets weak. So it's all about the immune system. So let's talk more about the immune system. Your immune system controls whether or not you get sick. And your immune system is controlled by what? Your brain, right? Ultimately, your brain controls everything. Your brain has to send a signal down the spinal cord and out through the nerves. It runs down the length of your back. Right in the areas that I adjust you. If you're a patient of mine, right in this spot, that's where the signal goes from the brain to the rest of the body. And it goes everywhere in the body. It goes to your pinky toe, your pinky finger, it goes to your spleen, your heart, your lungs, everything. When we're talking about the immune system, you have to understand the brain also controls the immune system. The way it works, basically, is the different organs of your immune system, basically like your spleen, the bone marrow that produces white blood cells, your thymus gland, which you only have when you're real young, and then it disappears for the most part of most of us. Lymph nodes and the lymphatic system. These are all things that are part of your immune system. They all get innervated by the nerves, told what to do by the brain, right? So this is what we're talking about. When you want to boost your immune system, when you want to turn your immune system on, it has to be done first and foremost by your brain. So it produces something called glutathione, which strengthens your immune system, which helps you kill cancers. Lymphocytes are white blood cells. Those are the cells of your immune system that help you kill cancer, along with other things like viruses and bacteria and things like that. Let's move on.